Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Power Hour.
Power Hour!
Yeah, while I get this set up real quick, watch.
We're all just like quiet on our phones.
Yeah, sorry.
Good morning.
I've got to start this watch party. It always delays me. Yeah, what that guy said. Deacon, good morning.
Morning, Deke.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Power Hour. This is the hour of power meant to encourage.
I love the creativity this morning. It's great.
Thank you.
Welcome to the Power Hour. This is the hour of power.
You know, it's just flip the words.
After this morning's shower.
Ooh, yeah, because it is raining outside.
Here at the Plaza Tower.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. I could do this all day long.
Oh, gosh. I better stop him now. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, yeah, welcome to the Power Hour. Just an hour of encouragement to carry on your day, your week, your month, your year. If you only listen to me once a year, that's okay.
No.
It's all right, as long as...
I've said it before, I'll say it again. I am not to be trusted with this kind of power.
Yes. Maybe we should take that away from him, Jay.
I think so.
No! Wait.
No.
Oh, gosh.
Sorry.
Anyways, good morning. And like always, I will milk it till a few more people get on. And
Oh, no. Here we go.
so this weekend... ooh. Maybe not that one again.
That makes me want to get some Q-tips. All right. Jay's like, what?
What's going on?
Because what? It sounded like it was right in my ear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's raining outside,
Yes.
and it's cold, and I don't like it.
And the thunder. We're so full of energy. This
and I
is
don't
the
like it.
hour of power. It's raining outside, and I don't like it.
I
Yeah.
love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is I figured out that San Diego, when I go to boot camp, everybody says, you know, how glorious it is out there and how the weather's always great. But I looked up the weather from when I'm going, and it's going to be raining a lot, which I don't mind as long as it's a little warm. Like,
Right.
as long as it's not, like, below 50, I'll be okay. But once
You're
it
joining
gets,
the Marines, right?
yeah.
Hmm.
Once it, or I'd say about 45.
Who all?
Once
So
it
have
gets
you
below
watched
that,
a lot about the training and seen what
Oh,
they
yeah,
actually do
I've
and go through?
Yeah, I've seen it all. And everything now you can watch on YouTube. And
You know, it's
They
funny.
even have
I
Netflix
watch
documentaries.
those things, and it's like, oh, you know, I can do that
no, I watch it.
for 15 hours a day.
I watched it in a class, in a high school class one time, and I just remember watching. I think it was the SEALs, and I was just thinking to myself, man, these guys are nuts. I would never do that. Why would I ever do that? But now I know why. Once you get older, I guess you really understand. And younger too. Younger guys, I guess, get it. Like my brother-in-law, he wanted to go, and he really wanted to go, and he made it through, and now he's a Marine.
And
So
you're
it's
gonna
pretty
go
cool.
And join him.
And I'm going to join him, and I want to do it. I think there has to be some guys joining the Marines. I think some just don't know what to do sometimes, and so I think that's why it's harder for them to make it through the boot camp. But I think it'll be easier for me than those guys because I want to do it, and this is what I want to do.
Now, you've been running and stuff to get acclimated, correct?
Yes.
Now, have you found that to be difficult?
No.
No? Because you're not a smoker.
Nope.
Were you ever a smoker?
Nope. I never smoked.
Well, praise Jesus for
But now
that.
their point is to push you and find your breaking point.
Yes.
And then,
Regardless.
Rebuild you.
Yeah.
And for you to find the teammates who will support you through those times.
Right. Regardless how fit you are, they're gonna push you to you.
Yeah. They're
For a
going to
while.
find which part of it is that
Yeah.
you fail
How
at
far
and-
can you go?
And then see who supports you and
Right.
how you can build a team.
Right. Good morning, Pops.
Pops is on.
Pops is on.
Dee Dee?
No, not that Pops.
Morning, Dee.
Nope, not Daddy Pops.
Oh.
Grandpa. Brittany's grandpa. Pops. Anyways, so yeah.
You getting nervous?
No.
No?
I'm
and
ready
how
to
long
go.
you got now before you go?
I've got
Hi, Deacon.
less than 2 weeks. I got a week and 3-4 days.
And that's when boot camp starts?
It's when I leave, yes, and I'll get there that night, and that's when it starts.
Right.
Same day, yep. Monday, we drive a bus over to the airport, get to the airport, and then we'll fly to California, and then get on another bus, take it over to the boot camp. As soon as I step foot off that bus, the screaming comes.
Yeah.
So, yes.
They'll be there waiting for you.
Yep,
Waiting for your arrival.
yep.
With
They'll
your
be
name.
waiting to yell. I just don't get. I couldn't do the whole yelling thing the whole time, man. Those guys' voices have to be
Strong.
or messed up later.
Yeah.
I think so, because that's they're yelling every day, almost for like a good 15 hours. I feel like.
He's just hoping somebody's got some treats over there.
Oh, Deacon.
Deacon. Love Deacon.
But anyways, yeah, I'm excited. So I had to go last week. I had to go to keep my date. In other words, I had to go to Indiana. Drove 7 hours for about 2 hours of my time there. So it's kind of lame, but it's okay. To keep my date, I went there, and I had to do a fingerprint background check again because they expired. And the next day, I went to the pulley, which is what they call before you go to boot camp. It's kind of like training before your training, I guess, in a way. Getting the kind of experience. And I haven't gone to one here, and I asked my recruiter. He said, no, you're fine. So I went to theirs there, and, I'm kind of glad I went. Actually, I'm really glad I went, and because it was kind of a mini experience of what I'll experience, in a way, in the Marines. Being in formation and having the recruiters talk to you while you stay in formation, looking straight ahead, and
Kind of like taking the practice ASVAB.
right. And they were
Only
making
physical.
fun of. They were making. It was so funny. They were making fun of my mustache, and I couldn't help. I started laughing. They didn't start yelling at me for laughing, but I just couldn't help it. I started laughing because they were making some pretty good jokes out of my mustache.
I bet they were.
You know,
So,
Trying to crush your ego and your
they're not gonna crush my ego
image.
by.
just look at them when they start making fun of it and go, mustache! And just like hold it out as long as you can. And that'll
Yeah.
take all the funniness out of it and just become awkward, and they'll stop talking about it.
Yeah. And so then we did. Come on, Deacon. And then we did some pull-ups. That's all we were doing for our physical test? So we did our pull-ups.
Those
And why
are
we're-
hard. They
why-
drain you.
He's a big kid now.
While I
Pull-ups
was
drain
doing,
you.
while I was doing my pull-ups, they were making fun of my mustache again, and I was trying hard not to laugh while I was doing my pull-ups.
While you're doing pull-ups.
Yeah. So it was funny, and then we went out to the field and played just like ultimate frisbee or something, because I guess we weren't running that day, and that's what we did. So
Ultimate frisbee?
Yeah.
Is that like
Yep.
frisbee golf?
it's like football.
Oh, but with the frisbee.
with the frisbee, you swat the frisbee down, but you can't move with the frisbee. So once you catch it, you have to plant and then
Throw
find
it.
somebody to throw to.
Otherwise, it's double dribbling, right?
yeah. Exactly. Yep.
Or traveling, rather.
Traveling. Yep. And
Double dribbling is using both hands, isn't it? Not double dribbling?
yes,
Which is against the rules of basketball, which has nothing whatsoever to do with
not at all.
frisbee. So I'm glad we got that figured out.
Yes, we did.
Sorry. Glad I could help. I'm just trying to be a blessing.
Hey,
That's all I'm
you are-
saying.
You are a blessing.
So, well, thank you. So are you. So are
And,
you, Jay. So are you, Steve. Thank you. Right there, Steve.
And
McAllister in the
then,
background.
so we were playing ultimate frisbee, and
Are you coming to the telethon? Dennis wants to know.
possibly it just depends. Since it is my last week, I don't know yet. I got
Monday and Tuesday.
I got a lot to do.
Loose
Okay.
ends to
Get-
tie
You
up.
can come in and say hi at
Before I
least.
go.
Come
Yeah.
in and say hi,
I
shake
can
some
do that.
hands, give some hugs.
Yeah.
Bring Deacon up here. There'll be plenty of treats, I'm
Okay.
sure, for him.
I'll stop by then. I
We'd
don't
love
know
to
if I'll
have
be
you.
able to stay. We'll see. I don't know yet.
What do you think of rainy days?
I'll for sure be able to stop by though. But so I was playing ultimate frisbee, and I could tell all
Dog
these
is so
kids
spoiled.
were already starting to look up at me, and they
I think he's spoiling me.
They started calling me Steve. Because one guy came up to me. He said, "Can I just call you Steve? Because you just look like a Steve at my." I said, "Sure, man." So he started calling me Steve. And then my teammates were like, "Steve, pass to me." It was pretty funny. It was actually really funny. And then they were in awe of my athletic ability. And I'm not trying to boast on myself, but our family is pretty athletic. And when we stepped out on the field, there was like not a lot of
Just
them
your grandpa's hair by itself is athletic.
I agree. And
So-
when we stepped out there,
Just imagine a bunch of little hair follicles doing pull-ups.
I realized how not
Sorry.
athletic everybody was. And so
Sorry, Mr. Blackwood.
they were in awe of my throwing ability and my jumping ability. And, hey man, just give Steve the ball. No, that's okay. Because
Or the frisbee.
we started playing ultimate frisbee with football then.
Oh, so it was
Now,
basically.
don't they
Yeah,
try to
that's
mentally break you
football.
down as well as physically, though? Don't
Oh,
they
yeah.
try you in every
it's
way?
It's all mental.
Yeah,
'Cause
they
there's
break
a
you down,
risk
build
of,
you back up.
I've talked to all
Mm.
the Marines, and I said, what's I don't even remember how I asked it. What do I need to look forward to, or what's the hardest thing? He said, all the Marines that I've talked to said, it's just it's a mental game. That's all
Yeah.
it is. Even part of the physical, that physical part is the mental game.
As long as you have your mustache, you'll be all right.
I won't be able to keep this mustache.
They won't let you keep the mustache?
No, I would rather not.
That's
keep
a
that.
Freddie Mercury mustache right there.
You don't want that.
That's
getting in your
exactly
way.
what somebody said yesterday at work.
It is.
Who
I mean,
is that?
Yeah.
Freddie Mercury, the lead singer of Queen,
Queen.
he died.
Oh.
I mean, the way he died was terrible, but great singer, by the way.
Yeah.
But yeah, he had a mustache just like it.
Huh.
I mean, he wasn't like a skeevy
Yeah,
perv
look
that
up
I know.
Freddie
I didn't-
Mercury.
I didn't. He came up to me. He said, "Has anybody told you you look like Freddie Mercury?"
If you shaved your head,
No.
if
You
you
do
made,
very
if you
much.
had your hair really short, you would look kind of like Freddie Mercury.
I think you look a lot like Freddie Mercury anyway.
Well, he
Yeah.
came up to me a few times. He's like, "I had to check like 2 or 3 times to make sure you weren't Freddie Mercury." I was like,
Well,
Okay,
first of all,
well,
Freddie Mercury's been dead for a very long time.
And
I
he's,
know, but
if
maybe
he
he
were
was
alive,
just-
he would be much older than
Yeah.
you.
Well,
like
it's
3
just what he
times
said,
your
I
age.
don't
He'd be like, I'm sailing away.
Anyways,
That's the wrong.
Is that the wrong group?
Yeah.
That's Styx, isn't it? It is.
Yes.
That's Styx. Sorry
Yeah.
about that.
yeah,
Wrong group.
No,
I knew.
is it Kansas?
No,
that's
that's
Kansas.
Styx.
Kansas.
Promise you. Come sail away, Styx.
6.
Come sail away.
Come sail.
All right.
That's another trailing off that we just
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
All right, so Steve,
So
what, are
that was my weekend.
what are you doing there, Steve?
I'm pulling out things.
We're gonna start calling you. We got
Hey, we
enough
didn't
Steves.
have water to mop
Gosh
up
dang
this
it! I knew
morning.
that was going to happen.
We didn't have water to mop up this morning.
Yeah, we had to mop up water a couple days ago.
Yeah.
Just
Was it
once.
Monday? Was it Monday we came in and it had been storming all night, and there's the phantom water that comes up here,
Hey.
and it just what it does is it drains down. They said before this particular office was occupied, they left it unrented for a long time
So
before they
can
put
see.
the tile in, and they came up here when it was pouring down rain, and they just didn't see where it was coming from. It just out of nowhere appears. There's no water spots on the walls, the drywall, or anything like that.
Huh.
It comes down the wall and it seeps in underneath the deal, so it doesn't actually touch the wall itself. It just probably goes on the lines, and I don't know, but it was there, and it was about 2 gallons we had to mop up, or you mopped up in here.
Just
Well,
a
I,
couple gallons, yeah.
anyways, continue. What were you saying?
Oh, I was
Steve?
just talking about my weekend. So that was my weekend. But
Sounds
it was,
like a fun weekend.
it was good.
Love ya.
A lot of driving for not a lot of time.
Yeah.
But
And where did you go?
Indianapolis, pretty much.
Oh, so it's about an 8-hour drive, isn't it?
7. Yeah.
They have the Garden of the Gods out there, one of them.
But it's almost like 8 because there's an hour change time difference.
You like the national parks and hiking and all that, right?
Oh yes.
Well, yeah, it's too bad you didn't get to go see the Garden of the Gods down there, down on the very bottom of Indiana.
I don't even know what that is.
There's a national park up there, and it's weird because it's all these stacked stones, where the stones at the
Hey,
top
Scott.
are bigger than the stones at the bottom,
Yeah.
and it's like part of a mountain
Interesting.
cliff. So
Well.
it's really cool.
I wish I would have known that beforehand. Maybe it would have made us stop.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Well, now you know. And no
now
one's
we're
half
going
the
to
battle.
switch over to the Power Hour.
The Power Hour is here.
It's here, and it's time.
It is time. What are we on today?
Oh, I don't know. Whatever the Lord gives me.
Not
Whatever
that.
He's given me.
Yeah.
No, not that. Not what Matt's doing over here. I do have a verse, though. So I'm going to read this first to start off with. Isaiah 40:29 through 31. He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. Even youths grow tired and weary, and young men stumble and fall. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint.
Nice.
Yes, this verse, I read it, it keeps coming back to me. I read it I don't know, in the summer at some point.
You said Isaiah 40?
Yeah, Isaiah 40:29 through 31. And it's very true, just because of things in my past where I have felt weary and weak in moments. And it's the way I'm trying to think how to word things. When I went through the passing of Brittany, my previous wife, it was hard to find strength.
You saying you just got? Are you saying you got married again?
No.
Oh, you said previous wife. So I was like,
Sorry, I don't know. That's just what came to me.
I thought maybe we missed a wedding.
No, you didn't. No, but when you go through, for instance, when I went through the passing of Brittany, and it was hard to, you question things, question, whether or why God didn't. I wasn't questioning whether God was real or not. That wasn't a question of mine at all. I was just wondering why the whole time. Why she couldn't be healed. And I don't know the answer. I don't have the answers to everything, and I don't know why, and I couldn't tell you at all. But it was hard. It was hard, especially the months after. I couldn't find that hope. And I've talked about this before. I couldn't find that hope or that drive to push on. I couldn't find strength in hardly anything other than playing sports on the weekends. I would say that was the only time I was able to leave my mind and my thoughts, and I was just able to play baseball and football is what I was doing at the time, and I was just able to play the game. But as soon as I stepped back off the field, it's like everything flooded in again, and then I would get trapped inside my head, and then that's when I would leave and go off on my traveling experiences. But
is this thing with the Marines kind of in addition to that?
in addition to,
Well, to be busy and to be active and physically challenged constantly.
no, I mean, I've never thought about that. I don't think so. It has given me hope, and I just think the Lord knows what we love to do.
Mm-hmm.
And, I said a long time ago, I could never see never see myself in the military. But
The mustache is fighting back.
I've got deacon hair that's floating on my mustache right now.
I think for the individual,
sorry.
the military is kind of synonymous with killing. But the military as a whole, I think, is synonymous with defense and an idealistic,
Yeah.
like it represents our Constitution in the world, the setting of the world, you know, in the world setting, and our freedom and liberty.
Yeah. Yeah, I just said I could never, when I was younger, I said I could never see, my brother always wanted to go, he talked about it, but I said I could never go, I'm not a fighter, I couldn't do that kind of stuff. As time goes on, I've come to realize, and I just talked to my dad about this too, we had dinner the other night, and I just said, man, the Lord knows me, and He knows my heart, and He knows what I'm good at, and He knows what I love to do. And when you bring the military aspect in it, what they do, I mean, it's like a advanced camping, backpacking style in a way, if you can think of it, with physical abilities. And I was just thinking about this, and I'm like I said, I'm not boasting, but I'm gonna say I'm pretty athletic, and I have people that will agree with me. But
You're saying you're prepared.
yeah, and I get to use my God-given athletic ability towards something now, and that's fighting our country and also helping out other men, and to bring these things that I love into aspect of also glorifying God in the same way of loving on these brothers and showing them the way, the truth, and the life of where you can find rest in God and where you can get strength out of God when you are feeling weary and powerless and weak and hopeless. There is hope in our Savior, because a lot of us, when it comes to suicide, and then when it comes to, I'm just going to say that, when it comes to suicide, especially in the military, a lot of those guys, in my opinion, I believe when those guys do commit it, I believe they just feel completely hopeless because of what they left and where they are coming to, which is in the military, and the things that these DIs are saying, which is drill instructors, that are saying to them, which is really bringing them down, or even after boot camp, even what they've seen, and maybe how cruel the world can be in a way. I think it also brings them down as well. And I just think they lose hopelessness, or they lose hope, and they become hopeless in those circumstances. And it's, I mean, the suicide rate in the military has only increased, which I hate saying, but that's one of the things why the Lord has brought me to the military, is to not me to save them, but the Lord to use me through what I've been through, and also just the love that I can give from the Lord to help them out. I don't do any kind of saving. Nobody does any kind. No pastor. Nobody does any kind of saving. It's the Lord working through that person and through the pastors that puts those things on their mind of what to say or how to love them. Because not everybody is different. Not everybody. You're not going to treat everybody the same when you love on somebody. It's going to be different in the way the Lord wants you to do it, because people have triggers in different ways.
Have you researched suicide in the military, about what maybe what I wonder for soldiers who have committed suicide, what, say, an interview with their comrades and the people who were close to them would say about their observation of the person? Like, is there, like, would they say, you know, I thought he was great, you know?
Yeah.
I thought he was, you know, he was an inspiration to me. Or is it, you know, I knew something was wrong? Or probably both.
I think it's both.
And so I'm wondering, is what signs would you look for? And
I don't.
Yeah. What signs would you look for, and how would you be ready to face those challenges or to come alongside somebody who's facing those challenges? Except that maybe you would announce it, and
Right.
and because so you'd have to really just make it known and be known as that guy,
And that's my goal.
so that somebody might, in that moment, say, hey, you've been through this, because they know that you have,
Yeah.
and this is what I've been thinking.
Yeah.
Is that what you want to do? Is just make yourself available, make it known,
Yes,
so that men
I mean,
who are thinking that
I
can-
want the men to know, my teammates. I mean, because I'll be closest with my team, obviously. But with any men in the military, I want them to know that I am there for them, and not necessarily know what I've been through, but just know that I have been through quite a bit in my life, to where the Lord has shown up, and to where He has brought me out of those dark moments of the attempt of suicide, and also
There's also choosing faith, though.
right, yeah,
A
no,
person could reject the Lord.
they can.
And so how did you reach the strength to say, I'm going to go with you, Lord? This is, you're calling me, and here I come. I'm with you.
Well,
And how do you introduce that to another man?
he's done it in my past. Even when I necessarily never rejected the Lord in a way, I guess you could say.
Well,
But I
I mean,
didn't
one could. So I would
Right.
think in the military, I'm saying if you're facing somebody and you're presenting your faith to them,
Mhm.
and introducing them to your
The
faith
only
and to
thing,
faith.
the only thing that I can do is just love on them. The only thing that I can do is let them know where my heart's at and what I'm open to, and just to talk to them and plant the seed inside of them. But I can't force somebody to. I can't force somebody to choose faith over whatever else is going on inside of them. I can't do that.
No,
The Lord has to do
you
that.
would be introducing them.
Yes, and hopefully whenever I do express my love for them, and the love that the Lord has for them, and how He can bring you out of these dark circumstances, that's when I would pray that the Holy Spirit, it just comes in, and it just convicts him, because that's what the Holy Spirit does. He will come in, because he's done it to me multiple times. He will come in, and He will convict you of things that you have done, and that's when you know, man, I've got to make a change with something here, because this is not right. I just heard the verse this morning. Dang it! It's in Proverbs. I can't remember it. Maybe I'll remember it here in a bit. But it's about the foolish. The foolish will. They don't see anything wrong with wickedness, but the wise will know from good and evil. In other words, and so when you're foolish, I mean, and you ignore the faith, and you choose not to go the faith route,
I think that
that's
ultimately is
they're
foolishness.
yeah they're that Holy Spirit, when it tries to convict them, they're just going to think, this is nothing. I'm going to keep going on with my life, and everything's good. In other words, to them, that nothing is bad, and whatever they're doing is not bad to them.
Did you find yourself masking any of the despair? And do you recognize any ways that you successfully did mask
What do you
maybe some
mean?
things? Well, because if you're trying to reach men who may be having these thoughts, and so maybe they're not so clear or obvious,
Yeah.
were there ways that you masked your feelings and your thoughts, and that you would recognize maybe some of the
Yeah, so once you get to know somebody, I think everybody, in a way, wears their heart on their sleeve. And you can once you get to know somebody, you can tell when they are not having a good day, I guess you could say, or in the right headspace. And the way I did it, I mean, people could
and
tell.
that's when you reach
Some-
for them.
Yeah, some people could, but the people that didn't know me couldn't. People that did know me could. They could tell when something was wrong. people that knew me very well, they could tell when something was going on, or whether I was thinking, not thinking, but whether I was having a good day or a bad day. And they could just always tell. And that's why, man, I'm burping, sorry. That's why it's important
dare
to
you burp like a human.
That's why it's important to
Yeah.
no, you're good. Grow relationship.
I have people at work who apologize for stuff. They come up with their arms full of stuff and they put it down and like, I'm sorry. And I'm like, how dare you buy stuff from a store? That's
but,
I have fun with people sometimes.
No, it's important to it's important to grow a
Sorry.
relationship with others, just like the Lord. Like I've said this, I say it all the time.
Yeah.
The Lord didn't put us here on this earth to to be by ourselves. He put us here on this earth to grow a relationship with others and to love on them. So that way we can help each other out in circumstances and situations, and bring wisdom and bring encouragement and uplift them. That's the reason why we're all here on this earth together. So yeah.
It's an amazing gift.
Yeah. I mean, we all have the capability of doing that, but we have to, even when you don't like somebody, we're supposed to love our neighbors and our enemies as we love ourselves, and even as we love the Lord. And if you look back when Jesus in the New Testament, whenever he got crucified, whenever he got all these things, the slander and the things said to him, and he got beaten down, he loved on them. If you look in every situation, he just loved on them, and he couldn't. I mean, that's just what he did, and I don't know how he did it, but he did.
Yeah.
He's amazing. That's why he's Jesus.
Yeah.
So,
Amen.
The truer words have never been spoken.
Yeah.
I don't know how he did it, but he's just
Jesus.
Jesus.
he's Jesus.
Enough said.
That really
but we're supposed to-
he's right. Well said. Because
We're
you have that expression all the time in the Christian faith.
Yeah, and it's hard as
But
humans.
then you find yourself following and behaving in that way.
Yes, and that's the cool thing. Once you start to follow the Lord and grow relationship and continue to grow your relationship with him, you start to realize things to where and I said this morning on on my story on Facebook and Instagram. Even if you don't know the Lord loves you. Once you have, and people who don't know the Lord, and people who don't know the Lord, whenever you give your heart to the Lord, you will have this renewing of your mind and this whole transformation that the life that you left is behind you. Now you started a new life, and you will start to realize the way you start to think, the way you start to see things, the way you start to hear things, the way your heart starts to hear and see things, everything changes. Because I had a gentleman, and I said this on my story, I had a gentleman that I knew for a long time, changed his life. And he just came up to me, he said, man, I am, he said, the way I think now is differently. I said, that's the Lord. He does that. I mean, and it's in a good way. And it's the way you see things of basically almost everything comes out of love once you start to see. That's how I look at things is I just want to love on those people. Now and I'm not saying I'm perfect. Now there's moments where I do get frustrated, but in those frustrating moments, the Lord checks myself, and I have to check myself, and I have to look away or whatever it is, wherever I'm at, throw on some worship music real quick, or just pray for a second and change my thinking back to God's thinking and the way He thinks.
Because I think that's what we were talking about, is you find yourself loving in the most impossible way.
Yes.
You find yourself loving people in the most impossible ways, and it's just, like you said, I don't know how He did it, but He did it, because He's Jesus, right? But we love Jesus, and we're so thankful for it. And then somehow through us comes this impossible love.
Right, yep.
It cannot happen except through Him.
Yep, that's exactly right. With God, all things are possible.
Yeah.
I know that is said a lot in our world today, but it is very, 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 very true.
Yeah.
100% true. He will. I don't know. He's amazing. I don't know how else to describe it.
That's
And
the
when you
perfect way.
when you come through those situations and go through those circumstances, or feeling maybe hopeless for a day, look to the Lord. He will drag your butt up and bring you to the light and make you think differently of what you thought before, and show you love and show you. When she passed away and going through that whole hard time, and I don't think, unless you've had something really tragic, some kind of tragedy happen to you and then come back to the Lord, I'll just say this: when I got back to my relationship with the Lord, there's this. Well, I don't remember where it is in the Bible, but he says, "My peace will pass all."
The peace that passeth all
all-
understanding.
All understanding, and it is so true. When you go through a death in your family, or husband, wife, grandma, grandpa, and you're just not having a good time, that's when that peace, because I don't understand it, and that peace just waved over me, and he gave me so much peace on just having hope in him and just loving on me and just moving forward in my life. I mean, if you haven't had something, it's kind of hard. I don't think people who haven't had something tragic happen to them know what that looks like.
I think it's interesting when I look at you and listen to your story. The love of God is like a spring, right?
Yes.
Well, this spring that was welling up in you was given to her. It was washing over her,
Mm-hmm.
coming from you to her. So there was your focus. You had a place to focus this spring of life, this
Yep.
spring of love that was coming from you. And then when she passed, there was no focus or place to put it.
I
And
completely
it
agree.
still got to go somewhere.
Right.
And so you went into this darkness, right?
Yep.
But then, and that's what I'm hearing from you now, is that you have this spring of life and love that comes from Christ that's beyond you. You don't know how, but
Right.
it's there and it's
Yeah.
still coming out. And so you want to find the place where you can do that, where that love, that spring of love that's coming from you, can wash over someone who needs to be cleaned, who's in the darkest place.
Yes, that's exactly right, and I believe that's why he's bringing me to the military, because there's a lot of men who don't know what love is. And not to burst anybody's bubble out there, but if you don't know what God's love is, I don't think you know what love is, because his love is so
I agree.
indescribable and indescribable. I don't know how else to explain it. You can't explain his love until you feel it. And then
There's
once
more of it than you can stand almost. that you could-
exactly. And once you experience that love, you can give it to others. And it's amazing. Once you give it to others and you see that they are feeling love, it's something remarkable to see, because that's how you felt when he loves you, when he is still loving you. And it's just so cool to see. I can't tell you how many times I have seen it just through other men or even women, that where they have felt his love in a dark moment, and they couldn't get past that darkness, and then his love is like the shining light bulb that just washes away all that darkness, and it's like gone, and they're just they just glow. And it's something really cool to see, and when you see that on somebody. And that's why it's important for us to love on others. You don't know when somebody's having a bad day. If you don't know that person, you aren't going to know. And if they're really good at hiding their feelings and their thoughts, then you're not going to know. But when you show that love, things will come out of that person, and they might come back up to you later and say, "Man, I'm so happy that the Lord lets you love on me, and you loved on me, and just obeying His command, because I was going through something dark in the moment, and you were just a shining light for the Lord, and brought me out of that darkness. And it's really amazing to see, and that's why I'm going to the military. I'm not going to know half these kids. I'm not going to know these young teens, as I'll call them. I'm not going to know half of them.
Yeah.
And I could tell
Like
this,
you are to me.
yeah, I could tell this past weekend that they were already looking up to me, and and my dad said it to me multiple times, and a few others, that these young teenagers, they're all going to look up to you because you have lived a longer life and you're just older. They're going to look up to you as a leader, and that's where the Lord wants me to step in and to be a leader. Not only be a leader just in the military in the military, but also a leader for the Lord, and leading men to Him, and just showing them love and what He can do in their life, and what He can show them, and what He can give to them, and that's love. And everything else comes through love. Love is the most powerful thing that the Lord has.
What about the combat aspect of it? How are you preparing for that? You'll be carrying a gun. You'll be responsible to defend and sometimes assault.
Yep.
I think the Marines you'll be assaulting.
Yep.
So in those circumstances, when you go out to conduct an assault on a group of people, which is really what it's going to be, it'll be a position and an objective to you.
Yep.
But then you will see people.
Right.
Or how are you preparing for that? And I know the military will prepare you, because they will
Mentally is what you're saying.
those people will be transformed through the military and the
Right.
training to objectives.
Right.
So that is going to be. Are you planning to face that? Do you know?
Yes. So, funny story. As growing up, I've always said, and my family knows, I am not the fighter. I'm the lover. So
Right.
it's something that goes on in my family, and they know that. So
Yeah.
my dad and my brother would always wrestle, and they'd always try to get me to wrestle. I said, no, I don't want to wrestle. Anyways, besides that point, so that's why I've always said, I could never see myself in the military, just because I don't like that kind of stuff.
Aggression.
Right. But my job once I get in is to obey my commands, because that's the Lord told me to obey my commanders above me.
Right.
But how I'm preparing myself is I have prayed multiple times, more than you could think of, just for the Lord to protect me and myself and my mental aspect if I do have to do killing, in other words, and something that I might not agree with, but I don't have a choice.
Well, he commanded his people to kill in military action before too.
Right, and I just pray that the Lord would I've prayed it multiple times, that the Lord would just protect me mentally and physically, if I do go to battle, just to protect me in battle, of when I do have to make those commands and meet those commands of what they're asking me to do. I don't know how else. I've just prayed about it. That's the only thing that I have done, is just to protect me and my eyes and what I see.
There's a proverb,
And-
isn't it? Isn't there? Is it a proverb or a psalm where there's a time for everything?
For everything, there's a season.
For everything, there's a season. Yeah,
For everything,
that's
there's a season. I think
can't
it's
remember.
Proverbs. I think it's in Proverbs.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the only thing I could think of.
Yeah.
Can you believe it's already 9:47?
Yeah, I saw that.
And it has to be made up of somebody. There are people that the military makes up. The military is made up of people, not just equipment. It's
Right.
people.
No, it is people.
And so for you to be in
People
there
are the
and to
equipment.
be one of them is a
Yep.
blessing
Yep. And maybe I'll
and a
get
comfort.
to just love on that person, and I don't know. I'm just thinking far ahead now. I'm not going to say it, but
Well, God bless you.
Anyways,
And
yeah.
thank you.
What did I
Yes.
just do?
Oh, what'd you do? Oh no!
I don't think
I
you did
almost
anything.
dragged something down a cord.
Did the computer almost come off the table like it did with me?
No.
Oh no!
I've done that. He had to grab it.
I'm like whoa, whoa.
Anyways, while I have time, I'm gonna transition to this, and since Halloween is next week, so some of you might get mad at me, but you know, this is just what the Lord has laid on my heart, and I don't. Anyways, I'm just gonna say it. I don't like Halloween.
Right.
I don't even like.
We've expressed that on here numerous times.
I don't like the word Halloween because what Halloween is, if
All
you,
Hallows Eve.
there you go.
It's-
If you
it's a
go
pagan holiday.
if you research it, it's not something. It's not like Christmas and Easter. It is completely wrong.
But there is an All Saints Day the day after.
Okay. I
Which
didn't know
was-
that.
I don't know if that was created by the Catholic Church or what church created that holiday to combat the pagan holiday, All Hallows Eve, be All Saints Eve, I think, right?
I think so. I think when these holidays, this particular holiday
I don't
set
yeah.
emerged, these were real issues of the day. So there were witches, and there
Yeah.
were evil people, and there were secret, and you know, the
Our witches still.
like the Grimes nursery rhymes were to warn children and
Oh,
to
Mr.
make them
Prince.
fearful of the unknown because
Yeah.
there were bad things happening then.
Yep.
And I think that's kind of the era where these things emerged.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of evil going on in the world, and this Halloween is something that emerged as a holiday to celebrate that. And then All Saints Day was the way of their combating and to celebrate the Lord and to demonstrate that there was a Lord in heaven, a loving God who was
Yeah.
more powerful and was not secret and evil, but rather open and was in the light and God and the one true God and all powerful God. So I think that's in at least this set of holidays,
Yeah.
from what I understand, that's really where they come from.
Yeah. Yeah. I told my niece we're going to a dress up party because they would say Halloween. I said it's a dress up party.
Right.
So I just like to call it dress up day instead of Halloween because
It's like our church stopped calling trunk or treat, and started calling it Fall Harvest Festival.
yeah.
I think that's a good idea too.
It's a
Yeah.
day to get candy and dress up differently. That's all it is to me.
Well,
Now I heard of a church that gives out. They collect and give out and distribute Halloween costumes to children because of the humiliation of children who can't afford it, who can't
Really?
afford to participate in the Halloween parties and the school parties and all
Well, if
that.
the parents would get creative, they could.
Right, right.
well, even then, you see, I had to go,
you go dressed up as Moses today, and I think you might
Well,
get beat up.
my brothers got to dress up as hobos. They took charcoal and smeared it all over their faces and stuff. And for some reason, my mom decided that I was to be a what do you call those? Not Egyptian. What are those women?
A belly dancer?
No,
Don't know.
I can't remember now what it's called. Where they wore they're nomads
Oh,
Okay,
type people.
gotcha.
There was a lot of them
Peasant?
in the World War II.
oh, gypsy.
Gypsy. That's why I say an Egyptian. I had to go as a gypsy woman.
They went to the concentration camp.
I was
as
so
well.
embarrassed. I was holding my bucket around the doors so people couldn't see me.
Ah, really?
And I was like, I wanted to be a hobo too, you know? No, I had to be an Egyptian
I
or
hope
a
that you got to
gypsy
say
woman.
what you were trying to.
Huh? What?
Did you get to say everything about it? That you
No.
wanted to?
So, thing about
Because I'm sorry.
this
for
is
interrupting.
no, you're good. This is a
Okay, so I've only got a couple minutes left.
the Lord. A day. Today is when, or this time of year is when people like to scare people, and drive fear into people. And some people really mean it, and some people do it for fun.
You notice the clown phase
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
really take on effect here in Missouri because this is a constitutional carry state,
Yeah.
And you might get shot.
and you might get shot. I mean, that's
Yeah.
sad but true. I
Yeah.
mean, if I'm out in the middle of, you can see, I live out in the
See
middle
a
of nowhere.
clown?
If there's a clown that's standing in the middle of the road
Yes.
with a knife in his hand, he's probably going to get hit.
Yeah.
I'm not going to stop for a clown person that look, and these aren't regular clowns either. These are mean-looking clowns
Yes.
holding knives and hammers and stuff like that, and then chasing you. I
Might shoot.
might, if you're chasing me with a knife, I'm within my rights to use lethal force
Yeah, that's true.
to defend myself.
Yep.
I pray to God that never happens, but I think that's one of the reasons why. Anyways, continue on.
Yeah.
Finish up what you were
so-
saying, because you've only got like
I know. So today was today, or not today, but this time of year is when everybody gets fearful and all the it's almost like we're celebrating fear in a way.
yeah.
And that's how I think of it. And that's not how the Lord meant for us.
It also gives a lot of people excuses to dress pretty scantily.
Yes,
Yeah.
scantily and
Yeah.
yep.
Being a
Agree.
Uber and Lyft operator,
Provocative.
driver,
Provocative, I think.
Yeah.
I've seen some pretty. It's
Yeah,
like,
I
you
have
go
too.
out in public like that.
Yeah. And the Lord, He didn't meant this is not meant for us.
Godly.
Yeah, it's not godly. And like I said, I'm not meaning to burst your bubble, but this is just, it's true. Think how the Lord would think. And
Well,
and
even
you guys
if people
might
don't
think,
take it seriously
yeah,
that way.
everybody might think I'm trying to burst or fun, but I'm not. It's just the truth. And the
You
Lord
wanna honor
loves
God.
everybody, and I want to honor God, and I want to love on people. And I think, I just don't agree with this whole aspect. And in my past, I've, went to the parties and dressed up, and it was never somebody scary. But the Lord didn't put us here on this earth to celebrate a day of fear and to get scared. Yeah, go get candy, but we're not meant to scare everybody and drive fear into everybody. We're meant to love on everybody and love on each other. And so that's what I have to say about this dress-up day.
It's about time for us to go, ain't it?
Yeah, it is. But just know, like I said earlier, if you don't know the Lord loves you. He loves you with all of his heart. And if you're going through something, look to him, because he will drive that darkness out and he will bring you light. Just trust in him. Be still. Know that he is God, because he's always there for you. Even though if you don't see him or not, or hear him or not, he's always there. So thank you for watching the Power Hour. My name is Skylar. This is Jay and Matt, our producers, who are on my show now, and I love it. And I've got one more Thursday left. That is next Thursday at 9 o'clock. So watch it, and I plan on doing more later after boot camp. So, but I'll tell you more about it next week. So thank you for watching.
Thank you, everybody. We'll see you all tomorrow.